Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBPUSD and come up with trade ideas for the day, if there are any. So let's jump right into Forex Factory. So today is Wednesday, and we have high impact news. So we have the core PPI, the PPI, and then we have the federal funds rate later on in the evening. So we're expecting maybe some high volatility on the US dollar pairs today. So let's look at the charts and see what we can expect going forward. Okay. So on the Euro USD, we've been in this pullback phase. Okay, price has just been tanking. Okay, and then recently, okay, so on Friday we mitigated this demand zone after we broke structure on the swing side. Okay, and then price has been reacting bullish. So Monday and yesterday Tuesday, price has been bullish. However, as you can see, the strength is not quite there. Okay, we have 3 days of strong bearish momentum, and so far with these 2 days we haven't taken out these two bearish candles. Okay, however, anything can happen because today is Wednesday and today we have high impact news. So this could be the day. If price is to switch bullish, then this might be the day where it might just have a low and then just continue bullish and completely take out all of these areas. Okay, maybe reach into these areas. Okay, maybe into that imbalance. Okay, or that extreme. Okay, so all of these are possibilities. And then on the pound, it's the same story. Price has been coming down. Okay, we've mitigated this extreme or this level of demand, and we've had a good reaction from that demand. However, we still have these areas where price could push into to mitigate before maybe continuing bearish, or if the trend if the pullback is finished, then this could be where price could start pushing up from. Okay, so let's look at the lower time frames. So starting with the Euro USD, looking at the 4-hour chart. So starting with the 4-hour, this is what we have. So this is my current internal range. Okay, this is what I'm looking at. So price reacted from this imbalance and then continued bullish, and then we might see price maybe take out these highs. Okay, if the bearish trend is to continue after sweeping these highs, then we may be looking for price to start moving bearish. So looking on the 15-minute, so like we said yesterday, I was expecting price to come down, maybe mitigate these areas before going for that high, or at least taking out the Asia highs. However, we just swept these lows. Okay, we just swept these lows, and then that was enough for price to continue bullish. Okay, so right now price is bullish, and it has broken structure. Okay, so we broke structure to the upside. So we now have an internal range bullish. So this was the last break of structure, and then we pushed up, broke structure. We've had a pullback. So let's see, 15. I have to name my boss. So that's where we've broken structure. Boom. So that would then mean that my internal range on the 15-minute has shifted bullish. Okay. And this would be my internal strong. That would be my internal strong. Alright, so we do have this area of supply at the top. Okay. That area of supply at the top, which had a sweep of liquidity and then led to a break of structure. So it is a valid area of supply. Okay, however, we have Asia highs as well with trendline liquidity at the top as well. So we could see price come in. Okay, we could see price come in, sweep these areas, mitigate this area, and then maybe have a reaction, maybe towards Asia low. So as you can see, we have a triple bottom right there. So that's a good area for to attract liquidity. So we can expect price, if we mitigate this area, right, or even just sweep this previous swing high or structural high on the 15-minute, then we could expect price to continue bearish, at least to take out Asia lows. So if that doesn't happen, or if price right now just starts to drop, okay, because it can happen as well, price can drop, sweep these areas. So what do we have? So all these areas down here, we don't have any imbalance except down here. Okay, except all the way down there. Except all the way down here. This is where we have an imbalance. All right. So if I'm looking at this in terms of my swing range, so currently this is the range I'm in. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so currently this is the range we're in. So we may be expecting, at the very least, for price to at least come back down, mitigate, or at least come back to equilibrium and get into discount. And then once we're in discount, then we can start looking at high probability zones where price could turn from. Okay, so that is the extreme, and that's another area that looks decent. Okay, so overall this is the low that led to all this move. Okay, that led to this break of structure. Okay, break of internal structure. Okay, so expectation would be that price right now, after a break of structure, we expect a pullback. Okay, in this case, we might be expecting a bit of a significant one. All right, if we are to return back into the range. Okay, so price is so high up, so the expectation now is at least we need to have a sweep, right, come into supply, right, and then maybe look for shorts to target this Asia lows, and then maybe if we are fortunate, if it all plays out, then maybe all the way to the equilibrium and into this deep discount. Okay, so pretty much that's my bias for the day, maybe to look for shorts, and if we get something that aligns or something that confirms on the lower time frames, okay, then we can start looking for shorts. So looking at the GBPUSD on the 4-hour, so this is what we're seeing. So all right, so supply starting to fail. Okay, so supply starting to fail. So this is currently our range that we're in. So that becomes our weak internal. All right, so right now price is pulling back. So we did break structure. After break of structure, we expect a pullback. Have we mitigated our EQ? Have we reached EQ? Let's see. Premium discounts. Okay, so we have mitigated. We've reached EQ. All right. So expectation is anywhere from here. If the bearish push is going to continue, then anywhere from here we could start to expect to see price reversing. Okay, and then targeting this week low. So do we have any clean areas at the top? Everything has been mitigated. Everything has been mitigated. So we do not have any clean areas. And then this was the last area that had an imbalance. Okay, so that imbalance has been filled and the area has been swept. So which is a good sign, because that means we have a structure that has been swept, and we could start looking for price to reject and push down. So let's look on the 15-minute. So looking on the 15-minute, this is what we see. So we have a previous structure high, which was an Asia high. Okay, and that has been eliminated. And then at the top we do have another structural high right there, which had a sweep and led to a break of structure. So let's investigate. So I can see this high. Right, so we do have an imbalance that hasn't been quite filled, but because we did have price reach into part of the imbalance, so I'm just gonna cover that last week right there. All right, so this is what we see. This is what we have. So we could be looking for shorts again on the pound. Right now, okay, this high has already been swept. I'll just classify it as liquidity. Okay, so we already see these highs, Asia highs, have already been taken. All right, have already been swept. That's a structural high. It's already been swept. Of course, we do have an area of supply at the top, but right now we're seeing aggressive bearish momentum coming in. Okay, aggressive bearish momentum coming in. So could it be that this is the move for price to continue bearish, possibly take out these lows? It is possible that Asia lows could be taken out straight from this move. However, this could also be a bait, okay, to entice traders to come in right now, load up for sales, and then only for price to come up and take them out, and then maybe eventually come into this supply at the top. Okay, so that's a possibility as well, for price to come up at the top, and then eventually come back down. All right, so this could be bait, especially because it's also happening before key time window. Okay, however, we do so the current range, okay, current range that we're in now means so there we had our change of character, break of structure, boom, confirm break of structure. Okay, so this becomes our strong internal. That's now our strong internal confirmed, because now we have this break of structure. Okay, so I'm just gonna classify this as my weak internal for the moment, though it's still being developed. And then 15M IBOS. Okay, So we've had a breakout structure, we did sweep liquidity, and then price is very much looking strongly bullish. We've had some kind of pullbacks, okay, not significant ones. So after the breakout structure, let's see. This is where price has gone. So we haven't come back to discount, okay. So we need to see price at least come down into discount. We need to see price to come down into discount for us to start looking for, or at least to have strong conviction for buys, okay. But also remember that this is the start of this could be the start of the bullish move, all right, since we are reacting off of a daily demand area, okay. So in terms of context, this is our daily demand, okay. Price is reacting from there. Now we have breakout structure come up, all right. Now we're breaking structure to the upside, so it is possible that price is not gonna come back, okay. Price is not gonna come back anytime soon, and we might just continue going bullish, all right, for a while. However, we need to be waiting for price at least to mitigate our zones which are in discount, okay, to mitigate our zones which are in discount. So this is what I'm looking at. So for the pound, technical, I could be looking for shorts, all right, in the sense that we still want to see price come up, maybe mitigate this area, okay, or at least at the start of the London session, okay. It may not, maybe price may not necessarily come into that supply, but at the start of the London session, maybe we need to see another sweep of this high, okay, saying this is a bait, all right. We have strong momentum coming down, but this is before key time window, so we want to see another sweep of these highs, okay. And then once that happens, then now we can start looking for shorts, targeting this Asia low and possibly maybe all the way to this low and then into discount, okay. So those are my trade ideas for today. That's what I may be looking at, and obviously we only act as we see price develop, and that's when we make our trading decisions on the lower time frames. Okay, so other than that, this is what I have for you. So please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to leave a comment if you find value with this material. Otherwise, have a great day, and the Working Trader out.